Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the live lecture of functional analysis. In last four lectures, we have covered the basic notions which are essential for us to understand the functional analysis paper. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to start the actual paper of functional analysis with unit number 1, Banach spaces. What do you mean by the word space? Euclidean space, vector space are the names that you have heard, I think, right? No. What is your idea of the word space in mathematics? Students, you have to speak with me. What do you mean by space in mathematics? Anyone?
In which we can describe our complete geometry.
Geometry operations, rather, you can say, right? No. Therefore, actually, it is an algebraic structure equipped with some operations, okay? Equipped with some operations satisfying certain properties. Okay. Now in this case, here the word space comes with vector space or linear space. Do you have any idea regarding the two words, vector space and linear space? Whether the two definitions are same or different? What about the two spaces, vector space and linear space? Yes, Pratiksha Golve. Can you answer? What is the
Yes,
difference? Ha. Ha, yes, Pratiksha. Pratiksha, you have to tell me the difference between vector space and linear space, or what you know about the two concepts. If you are not knowing, at least you should reply me that you know you don't know this.
no, madam.
You said yes, no previously. Huh? Shubhida Kobre,
Yes.
can you tell me?
Ma'am, vector space difference at आहेत नाही vector space.
डिफरन्स आहे का? दोघांमध्ये डिफरन्स आहे?
हा ma'am.
Okay. How many of you are agree with Shubhida?
Ma'am, I think both are.
Yes, both are same. Only the names are different. Okay. If actually vector space or the linear space it is. Right now. Vector space or the linear space. What about the vector word used in this definition, vector space? What is the meaning of the word vector? Okay. Vector is simply a point in an n-dimensional space, right? No? Here we are dealing with an n-dimensional space generally. So before going to the definitions of vector space or the linear space, one should understand what is the field and ring also, right? Because generally we were defining the vector space over the field, correct? No?
Yes,
Generally
ma'am.
we were defining, right? So first we have to think of what is field, or before that we will study first what is the ring. As of your both papers of algebra 1 and algebra 2 are completed, I think everyone can answer this question. What is ring, what is field? By knowing these two, we will go for the definition of vector space. First I wanted to know what is ring. I will not go for group. Group is now very much familiar to us. We'll try to understand what is ring. Yes? What is ring? R is the symbol we were using, right? Yes, you have to tell me the definitions. Your
First,
answers
it
may
should
go
be
wrong.
abelian group.
Ah, abelian group,
Then
very good.
multiplication is distributive over addition.
Yes. Let us write these properties then. A set R with two binary operations, right? With binary operations. Which two binary operations?
Addition and
Addition and multiplication or scalar multiplication?
scalar multiplication.
Addition and scalar multiplication satisfying following conditions. First condition. What is the first condition? We will write all the conditions. As we want this to be an abelian group, what we will write? First property to be closure.
Closure.
Okay. Therefore, A plus B. Okay, I'll skip because I have written already two binary operations. No. Therefore, both the definitions of operations, addition and scalar multiplication, are closed. Okay. Can I go for the next one then? After closure, we were writing associativity, right? A plus associative with respect to addition, right? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Like next, existence of identity, no? Therefore, let me denote this additive identity with the symbol 0. Therefore, there exists a 0 in R such that, what such that? A plus 0, 0 plus A is A itself, right? No? For all A, B, C in R. All the three elements I have taken from R itself. Number 3, identity I have written. Then I have to go for inverse. Additive inverse, no? Additive inverse we were denoting by minus A. What this is? A plus of minus A equal to minus A plus A is equal to your identity. Okay. Up to this, may I say R becomes a group under addition?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what should be my next property to say it is abelian group, additive abelian group?
Commutative with respect to addition.
Therefore, A plus B is equal to B plus A, right? What should be my next one?
Multiplication associative.
Yes, it is multiplication associative. That is A into BC is AB into C. Next. Now it is distributive.
Distribution.
Right? Therefore, a set R with the two operations satisfy following conditions. Right now? Okay, is a ring. Now what is field? What is field?
A non-commutative multiplicative inverse.
Non-commutative you are saying?
Commutative ring, ma'am.
Commutative ring with?
Multiplicative inverse.
Yes, right. For non-zero element only, right? No?
Yes, ma'am. Ha.
With unity also.
Yes, ma'am.
If here I will write if ring R satisfies following conditions. Correct, no? Here I have not completed.
इंटिग्रल डोमेनची कंडिशन आहे ना ती कम्युटेटिव्ह अँड हॅव्हिंग युनिटी.
For integral domain also and for field also, no? Every field is
Yes,
an integral
ma'am.
domain, no? Every field is an integral domain, right? No?
Yes, ma'am.
If R satisfies following conditions. Here I have not completed. Following conditions is a ring. Now I'll write ring R satisfies following condition. What is first? Multiplication commutative. Why I am writing multiplication commutative specifically? Because addition is commutative, comes under the definition of ring itself, right now? So this is commutative ring means multiplication is commutative, right now? As unity. As unity means what? Multiplicative identity, right now?
Yes, ma'am.
And last is every non-zero element
As a multiplicative inverse.
yes has multiplicative inverse. Can anyone tell me the examples of a field then?
RC.
Yes, set of all real numbers, set of all complex numbers, set of all rational numbers. Set of all rational number is the smallest infinite field, right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And after in the algebra 2 section, we have seen how can we extend this Q, right now, to the fields which are smaller than R, lying between Q and R. This we have seen in detail. Okay, we will not go to this section again. But I just want a definition of a field. Okay, because this is what a definition of field we have. Now let us come to a next point of internal composition and external composition. Internal composition. Now what is internal composition and external composition? A composition which is evaluated between the elements of a set itself. Correct? Right now, let L be a non-empty set because these two definitions are essential for us to understand vector space. So let me start with a non-empty set L. Okay, then a mapping L cross L to L. What is the meaning of L cross L to L? One element I am selecting from L and the operation is taken with the element of L again and the resultant is in L. Correct, no? Is called internal composition. Is called internal composition. Yes or no? Which elements are selected from the same set L, no? And the composition is defined. Therefore, this type of composition is called as internal composition. That is, one can say, whatever is star operation I am defining, say, x star y is in L for all x, y in L again. Right now, then star is called as, then star is internal composition. Okay, let me go for the next definition, external composition. What is external composition now? I think you can guess a definition. External composition means the two elements in which we have to perform the composition are taken from two different sets. Okay, that is, say L and F be any two non-empty sets. Be any two non-empty sets. Then a mapping F cross L to L is called external composition in L over L. In L over F. Now why I am saying it is in L over F? Because my final resultant of the composition belongs to L. Okay, and the composition is taken with the elements of F. That's why it is said that it is external composition in L over F. In L over F. That is, again I will write. See, alpha dot is the composition I am defining. Alpha dot x is in L for all. Now alpha I am taking from F and x I am taking from L. And whatever the composition, the resultant of this composition is going to belong to L. This is called as external composition. Is the point clear? Internal and external. You might have studied this already because to study the definition of vector space, these two definitions are very essential to understand, right? Therefore, this is internal and external composition. Now we will go to the definition of a vector space with the help of these two compositions. That is, on a set V, we want to define two operations, addition and scalar multiplication. Addition will be an internal composition and scalar multiplication will be an external composition. Let us have a look at the definition again. This is vector space, or one can write linear space. Both the definitions are same. Okay, therefore first we will define what is that set F, and then what we will go for the set L. First we will start with let F plus dot be a field. Now we are already familiar with the word now what is field. Okay, now the elements of F we were calling it as scalars, and whatever L set we were selecting, the elements are called to be vectors. Let me write the elements of F. The elements of F will be called scalars. Right now. Okay, now let me write another set. The set L, the non-empty set whose elements are called as vectors, The set L is a vector space over F. We were writing over F, no? If. Why it is over F? Again, by same definition. This is over F. One composition we were defining with the help of elements of other set. That's why what the set we have selected F. That's why it is over F. Two operations are defined. Okay. First, let me write. First, the operation is defined as an addition and is an internal composition. Therefore, let me write. There is an internal composition. There is an internal composition in L called addition. Called addition of vectors, denoted by plus. And for this composition, L is an abelian group. L is an abelian group. That's what the first condition ensures us, that this L must be additive abelian group. Right now, what this is giving me? Additive abelian group. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is the next condition?
Scalar multiplication.
Yes, now we will define an external composition. There is an external composition in L over L called scalar multiplication. Scalar multiplication. Okay, and denoted multiplicatively. Denoted multiplicatively means as we denote multiplication, no? It is denoted with the same way. That is, alpha x belongs to L. Alpha x belongs to L for all. Alpha in F and x in L. Therefore, what this F is actually, it's a field. And that's why the element alpha is actually a scalar. And this is a vector. Correct? No. Now, one element I have taken from F. Other element is taken from L. They put together, whatever the scalar multiplication performed is in L. Correct now? Any difficulty with this? Or
No,
one
ma'am.
can say that L is closed. L is closed with respect to scalar multiplication. L is closed with respect to scalar multiplication. Now it comes with the third and the last important condition. Now it satisfies some 4-5 conditions. Okay, let us write the two composition satisfies following postulates, the following conditions. Let me write those conditions. First condition is, what is the first condition? Alpha times x plus y is alpha x plus alpha y. What the condition is called?
Multiplication is distributive over addition.
No, this is not distributive property. And this is what I wanted to make you clear. In previous definition, here we have called this is an distributive property, but here now it is not distributive. Why? Can anyone tell me why? Because whenever we were going to define distributive property, all the elements should be from the same
From
set.
the same set.
Whether here the elements taken from the same set?
No, ma'am.
Alpha is taken from the field F, X and Y are taken from the set L. And then together we were defining a scalar multiplication. Therefore, this is like a distributive. It looks like distributive, but it is not distributive. Have you seen in any book that it was written that it is a distributive property? No.
No, ma'am.
It is not. Okay. Next property, similarly to alpha plus beta times x is alpha x plus beta x. Again, this is not distributive because now here actually scalar is multiplied to addition of vectors. Now here vector is multiplied to the or the addition of scalars is multiplied to the vector. Correct? No. Concept is different. Now here alpha beta is in F and x is in F. Therefore, these two property looks like distributive, but this is not distributive actually. Okay. Next it comes with alpha beta into x. That is product of scalars multiplied to a vector can be written as alpha into beta x. What kind of property this is now?
Associative.
Again, I am saying
No, ma'am.
it is not associated. It looks like associated. Okay. And the last one I am going to write is 1 dot x is x for all x in L, and one is unity element of F, field F. Can anyone tell me a reason why we were writing this as the last condition? 1 dot x is x, but we generally know 1 dot x is x always. What is the special purpose to write this definition? What this condition? Yes. One is a scalar, right now?
Yes, ma'am.
One belongs to F. Actually, here we have written one is unity element of F. This is a scalar multiplication. What we were saying, scalar multiplication. If we multiply by a scalar 1 to any vector x, the resultant should be a vector x. And 1 is the unity element of F. This is true always, no? Why there is a need to mention it again? जी गोष्ट नेहमीच ट्रू आहे ती पुन्हा पुन्हा लिहिण्याची गरज आहे का? Yes. Have you thought on this? विचार केलाय का आपण कधी?
One is symbol, ma'am.
Yes, one is the symbol of unity, and in some linear operations it is possible. See, for example, okay, suppose I am defining a scalar multiplication by alpha to any vector x and y. Say I will define this as alpha x and 0. Okay, if I do so, if alpha I am going to take or the field I am going to take R. Then what will be my alpha? This is 1, no? Then 1 dot x, if I write like this, whether it gives me 1 itself, vector itself. 1 dot x into y is actually 1. 1x into 0, no? 1x comma 0. That is x into 0. Whether you are getting the original vector. No, you are not going to get a original vector. Sometimes we are defining this like this, linear operations, scalar multiplication.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in this type of cases, this is not a vector space. It is not going to become a vector space. Therefore, we have to ensure that the 1 dot x is x. Then and then only it becomes a vector space. Okay, let us just have a look. How many conditions are there? Additive abelian group means there are in all 5 conditions we have, right? Closed under scalar multiplication, this is 1 condition. There are 6 conditions, and in the third one we have mentioned in all 4 conditions. Therefore, how many conditions are there totally? 10 conditions, right? 10 conditions. Therefore, any set L is said to be a vector space over the field here if it satisfies all these conditions. So whatever the operations are taken into considerations, all the operations are bound to these 10 conditions. We cannot use any operations which is not going to satisfied by the 10 conditions. Okay, therefore this is an algebraic structure with 2 operations, addition and scalar multiplication, satisfying these 10 conditions is called as a vector space. Therefore, the space word in mathematics is very clear. It is an algebraic structure equipped with some operations satisfying certain conditions. Okay, therefore, group we have studied, ring we have studied. Now we have came to this concept of vector spaces. Okay, any example of the vector spaces? Yes, example of vector spaces?
Real number.
Yes, set of all real number is a vector space. Over which field?
R.
Over R. You cannot write it as R over R. Actually, in the definition itself, this can be written as L over F. Right? No? The symbol
Yes.
we were writing is L over F. Right? But here I can write R over R. Another example?
R over Q.
R over Q. Another example? C?
C over R.
C over R. Whether it is R over C?
No, ma'am.
Why not? Why
Closure
not?
property not satisfied.
Closure will not be satisfied. Correct? No. Here I'll write, I'll not write as an example. If I consider R over C, if R is over C, then what I'll do? I'll take one complex number A plus IB in C, and I'll take one vector X is in R. If I define the multiplication X into A plus IB, it is not belonging to R. Correct? Now scalar multiplication will not be closed. Scalar multiplication will not be closed. Right? Okay? These are the examples of the vector spaces. I think you know what is a subspace as well. Subspace of a vector space.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you tell me the subspace, please.
The subset of vector space V, which is itself vector space.
Under which operations?
Same binary operation.
Yes, these are not binary actually. Scalar multiplication is not a binary
No,
operation.
ma'am. It's same operation.
With same operations, addition and scalar multiplication. I will not go to the details actually. Okay. Any difficulty till now? Ring, field, internal, external composition. Therefore, here addition is an internal composition. Dot, that is a scalar multiplication, is the external composition. Right? Okay. Now let me go for metric space definition, because our aim is to go towards metric spaces. All the rest definitions we have covered already. Continuity, closed set, open set, etc. etc. Okay. Let us try to understand what is metric function. Let me write the definition first. Let X be a non-empty set. Non-empty set or metric. What is the meaning of the word metric? Do you know?
Distance.
Yes, it is the distance. A metric on X is a real valued function. Real valued function on X cross X satisfying. I think once we have discussed about metric in detail, no? Yes or no? Whether I have taken metric earlier?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let us repeat then. For any X, Y in X, X not equals to Y. Okay. Before going to write the conditions of the metric function, as we have discussed, this is a distance function, no? So let me try to understand what are the properties of a distance function. Can you tell me the characteristics of a distance? If I want to measure,
Negative.
yes, first it is non-negative, right? So the first property. What is the second characteristic of a distance?
Distance between any 2 points will be always equal. If it is from A to
Always
B or
equal,
B
right?
to A.
Yes, if we measure from any direction, right? That is, if I have 2 points A and B, okay. If I measure a distance from A to B, is exactly same as if I measure a distance from B to A. Everyone is agree, I think. First, it is non-negative. Second, distance measured from any point to other is going to be same. What happens if the distance is 0? Distance of this point A.
Point coincide with itself.
Coincides with it.
Yes. If I write distance 0, point coincides. If points coincide, distance 0. Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me repeat. If distance 0, points coincides. If points coincides, distance 0. This is the property. And what is the another property I am going to tell you is, suppose I am finding a distance of two elements in an R2 space. Sorry, R2 plane. A to B I wanted to find. Okay. If I go straight from A to B, what about the distance? Or if I take a distance or a route to reach a point A to B via some third point. Via some third point. Right? No. Therefore, if I go like this, A to C first, then I'll come to C to B. Then I'll come to C to B. What about the relation between these distances? What about the sum of the two, A to C and C to B, and directly A to B? First, I can observe is
B is equals to
Less
A
equal
plus B plus
AC.
B plus
Less
less equal. No, first, why it is less, why it is equal, that we have to decide. First, if I
If
take,
points are collinear, then they are equal.
very good,
If they are not collinear, then that is less than.
very good, very good. Okay. Therefore, with this view, if regarding this sketch, may I write distance of AB is strictly less by distance from A to C plus distance of C to B. Okay. Now same sketch I will repeat again. I wanted to reach from A to B again, but the point C was taken on the line itself, line joining A to B itself. Then I will count the distance from A to C and C to B. Now in this case, may I say the distances are equal. D of AB is exactly equals to D of AC plus D of CB, right now? Okay, therefore it totally depends whether it is less or equal, totally depends on the position of C. Okay, this is therefore while defining a metric, all the four properties are taken care. Therefore, what is the first property of the metric function? d of
D of
xy
x y greater
Greater
equal
equal by 0.
greater equal by 0. Next,
D of
D of
xy
x y
equals to
equal to
0
D of y
if
x.
and only if x is equal to y.
very good. Third,
D
d of
of
xy.
xy is less equal by
Okay, let me write
D of
symmetry. D of
yx.
xy is yx. Now let us write the last one. D of xy is equal by
D of xz plus D of yz.
d of xy plus d of yz. Right now, what the first two properties combined we call non-negativity. Okay, what is this third one?
Symmetry.
Symmetry. And what the last one?
Triangle
Triangle.
inequality.
Triangular inequality. Okay. Now the name itself tells us now what is triangle. Here we can observe very easily. Therefore, why there is a need to define a metric is the question actually. Okay. In usual practice, is it always possible to find out the distance between the 2 points with a straight line always? No, it is not possible. No. Suppose this is a table we have and two persons X and Y are standing opposite to the table. This is the table. Right? And now we want to find out the distance between the 2 points X and Y. Can I go straight to find out the distance X to Y?
No,
By
ma'am.
climbing the table physically, practically I can say. This is not possible. Which path I have to follow? I have to go to this side, then this one and come this way. Okay? Or there are infinite paths actually. Whenever we were having any 2 points, how many ways are there to join the 2 points?
Infinite.
Yes, there are infinite ways. Right now, there are infinite ways to join these 2 points. Straight line is one of the way. Straight line is one of the way to join the 2 points. Okay, and actually this is the shortest distance, but practically, physically, it is not possible always to get the shortest distance. Okay, suppose we want to reach from Solapur to Pune. Okay, on map, can you see that? Suppose this is my map. Okay, here it is Pune, here it is Solapur and Pune. Can you join the two cities with a straight line directly?
No, ma'am.
No, it is not. We have to follow the path, whatever it is given. Okay. Now, whatever the path we have followed, we have to check whether it is the definition of a distance by mathematical sense. Okay. Therefore, whatever the distance between the 2 points taken in any way, out of those infinite ways, in any way, if we join the 2 points, that whatever the length measured via the corresponding path is called a distance if it has to satisfy the four conditions. Okay, and these four conditions we have written by using the distance function itself. By using distance function itself. Correct now? Therefore, there is a need to define a distance function. Practically, it is called as a metric function. Distance function or the metric function. Okay, whether you have understood the interpretation of every condition.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is the condition. Do you remember some metric examples?
Usual matrix.
Yes, what is usual metric? Yes, what is usual?
Mod of x minus y bracket square.
On which set you are defining this? Yes, on what?
A real.
Yes, it is real line. Correct, no?
Yes,
This is
ma'am.
the real line. Real line or R2?
R2.
R2. Real line also we can define. Okay. If I define this on R, what will happen? Let us check one by one. On R, if I define. On R means it is simply a straight line, right now? And if I take any 2 points X and Y, what I have to do? I have to take a subtraction. Okay. If I take Y minus X, it is non-negative. But if I take X minus Y, it is negative. Therefore, modulus is helped us to ensure that the distance is non-negative. Okay. What will happen if I take it on R2? Yes. On R2, how it is going to look like?
Open ball.
D of X, open ball. How? How it is open ball? Not X minus Y on R2.
Straight line.
Yes, it is a straight line joining the 2 points. Actually, this is given by the distance formula, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is on R only. Okay. And if I go on R3, again, any 2 points if I take, this is joined by, okay, these are the metrics, usual metrics on R, on R3 and on R2 and on R3. Right now? How this is being defined? Mod of X minus D of XY on R2 under root distance formula. If I write the coordinate x1, x2, this is x1 minus y1 bracket square plus
X2 minus Y2
bracket square. And same is applicable for R3 as well. Right now? Okay. What about this kind of metric? If I define this as d of xy, in R2 I will go only. This is mod of x1 minus y1 plus mod of x2 minus y2 on R2. What kind of structure it will be? As I shown you, the distance is like this here. With this metric. Yes, students. You should able to interpret, okay? This is my x, this is my y. X I have taken to be x1, x2. Y I have taken to be y1, y2, right now? Now how can I find x1 minus y1 on this? x1 minus y1 कुठे आहे? दाखवा ना मला. You have to tell me. Have you done the interpretation of every metric like this? Have you checked out how this is going to give us a distance? I think in your BSc course you have checked out whether given D is a metric on the given set or not. Right? No?
Yes, ma'am.
So distance कसा देतो geometrically हे बघितलंय का? इथं कसा देतो distance?
x1 x axis वर येईल आणि x2 y axis वर येतं आणि y1 x axis वर y2 y axis वर.
Very good. But how should I find this mod x1 minus y1? हे सांगा ना मला mod x1 minus y1 कसं आहे? Mod x1 minus y1, where is the location? Where should I draw? How should I find the distance between these two vectors? Is it a shortest distance? Can I join by straight line? What is, if I join by straight line, what kind of metric it is? This is a metric working, no? know why? Do you know why? Why this is a metric given by this formula? Why distance between these two is given by this distance formula? Yes, students. Hmm. Can you explain me this formula and this second number formula? Let us focus on this distance formula first and then we'll come to this point. Can you show me how this is under root x1 minus y1 bracket square plus x2 minus y2 bracket square? You have to reply me either yes or no so that I can understand you are getting me or
Ma'am.
not getting. Ah.
मॉड्युलस असेल तर त्याचं व्हॅल्यू काढताना फर्स्ट टर्म जे असेल त्याचा स्क्वेअर प्लस सेकंड टर्म असेल त्याचा स्क्वेअर आणि स्क्वेअर रूट मध्ये घेतो ना आपण.
Pythagoras.
That is correct, but you have to show me how this comes. I have given you the coordinates, I have given you the location. You have to show me how it is under root. Someone is answering, I think.
Pythagoras theorem प्रमाणे ma'am.
Yes, it is Pythagoras, but you have to explain me how Pythagoras is used. Many facts we have by hearted simply, right now. Without knowing the reason behind that, we have by hearted those as the formulas simply.
Adjacent upon hypotenuse तसं टाईपनी करायचं.
Okay, very good. Okay, what I will do today is I give this both the examples as a homework. You have to show me on R2 the distance and you have to show me how this metric is also going to work. What is the name of this metric? It's very famous metric actually. What is this famous metric? Second number d of xy. What's the name of this metric? Okay, let me stop for today. This is your today's homework. Till evening, everyone, you should try to find out how the distance between the two is given by under root distance formula. And this, what is the interpretation of this? You have to show me how the 2 points are joined to calculate the distance between x and y. Okay, geometrically you have to, and you have to put this as, you have to put the photo of whatever you have calculated on our WhatsApp group. Okay, in the next lecture we will deal with what is a normed space, what is norm and what is normed linear space, which is the first definition of your Banach space. Let me stop for today. If you have any difficulties, you can unmute yourself and ask. Let me stop then. I feel there is no query. Let me stop. Thank you for being with me for this lecture.